Another topic after DAO model and code reduction that we have seen. In also DAO model we are doing code reductions. So the third topic is after DAO model we have version mapping. What is version mapping? Basically what you understand through version, when you see the version on anything, suppose there is application and there is version for that of application. So what it means that that application is not the original product. The original product that is released freshly was something else, but with the time it got updated. Suppose there is, when something got released, then the version of that thing is 1, but it got updated, so the version become 2. It got again updated, then version become 3. So if you are using that application which is of version 3, then you can say that this is not the original version. It is the update of the original version that was previously released. So exactly like that, suppose we have customer table. So we have CID 1, 2, and we have corresponding customers. Suppose R and A for Ankit, and the emails for these peoples. But what customer Raj did, he updated his email 5 times. But when we are seeing the result in our table, in our database, how we can understand that Raj has updated his email, the original email, that the previous email that he provided at the time of creating accounts maybe was something else, and he updated this email. So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to take help of column, which is going to called as version, or whatever name we can give it. It's just a naming convention. Suppose the column name for version, we provided version. The name of column we provided is version. What will happen in this version? Whenever the customer 1 Raj is going to update his email, then here number will get increment. Whenever Raj is going to update his datas, then the corresponding value inside the version column is going to get increment. So what is going to be the initial value? Initial value when Raj customer is going to be get created, then in this version column the initial value is going to be 1. When this customer is going to get created at first time, then here we will get 1. From where we are going to get 1? By the hibernate. Hibernate will provide this 1 inside the version column as it is providing for primary key. So when the Raj got created, this customer got created, the corresponding column of version will get 1. Then what Raj did, he updated his email, he provided a new email. So this corresponding version column will become 2. So by looking at this version column, we can say that there is some changes that Raj had made. Maybe he changed his name from Raj to Raj Kumar, or email, or maybe if there is a phone column, he changed his phone inside the column, then this corresponding version will get increased automatically by the hibernate. I think you get the idea. So where we are going to mention in our class, when we are creating class customer, where we have to mention that this version column have to be get created and have to get filled automatically by the hibernate. Let's see that inside our codes. So let's inside our Eclipse IDE, let's create the copy for performing the code for version mapping. Then let's say this is version. So what these things are called? We call this version mapping. It is a version mapping inside our code. Let's close everything first. Here we have customer, and for this customer we are creating corresponding table customer inside study database. So let's see first in study database. Let's drop that database, create that database, use that database. Now there is no table inside that database. If we are going to create that table, we are using create operation. It's a simple code. There is simple mappings. Primary key is going to be created for PID, and for these fields, these columns are going to get created, and we are just inserting data inside this table. Table got created, got inserted, values got inserted. Row table, select star from customer. So here is the data. Now we want to update. Suppose we are updating. So here is the update code. The customer, which is at primary key 2, we have Kamal at primary key 2. We want to update phone number of Kamal. 68 is the phone number of Kamal right now. So first we have to load the Kamal customer. So we are loading, and we are setting new phone number for the Kamal. And suppose we are also updating Kamal names. Let's not do that. We are only providing new phone number for the Kamal. In this case, what will happen? "68" will get converted, get replaced with this code, this phone number. Now Kamal have new phone number. But if you are seeing this customer table at first time, how you can understand that this is the second version? In original record, the data was something else. How you can say that? So for that we are going to use version mapping. But let's update some more things in this table. So what we can do? There is one more way to update anything in the table. What you have to do is you have to use the same primary key when you are creating, suppose customer C is equal to new, and in here we are also providing primary key by ourselves. So look here what will happen. Suppose at 3 or at Kapil at 4, for Kapil primary key is 4, so you have to provide 4 right here, and name of Kapil, and let's say we are leaving his phone number as 0 and we are providing his email kapil@gmail, or maybe let's say 700. Kapil's phone number is 700 right now. It's 668, but we want to do 700. So what we are going to do? We are going to do session dot update, and we are going to pass this object of this customer. What will happen? That the values at this primary key, we are not creating new customer because we are providing this primary key. So for the corresponding values for this primary key will be get updated. You can see here. We leave the Kapil as Kapil, but we are changing 700. So update customer issued statement will be issued. If you are going to see here, for Kapil, his phone number got updated. So there is two way. Either you can load the class first, and then you can use setter methods to set the or to update the datas. And the another way for updating is you have to use the primary key for available customer, and then you can alter or you can say update the corresponding values. For primary key 4, we can provide different datas in the corresponding fields. We can change everything. Suppose from Kapil to Kapil Kumar, 700 got converted into 7. It's not Kapil at Gmail, it's Yahoo. And we are using session.update method, and inside update we are passing C. What will happen? Everything for this primary key 4 will be updated. Look here, for this primary key 4, it becomes Kapil Yahoo. Kapil converted into Kapil Kumar. His phone number becomes 7 from 700. So this is not what we want to do here. I just show you for the practice. So there is two way. You always have to remember that there is two way for updating your records inside your table. What we are here talking about is version mapping. So right now you can see multiple times we updated our records. But if I am going to give you this record, then can you say that this is the original record or it is been updated previously? No, you can't say. That's why here we want version column. How to do that? So in your customer class, you have to make one field of type int and name it version or anything. You can name it anything. And on top of this field, you have to use annotation version. Just by doing this, what Hibernate is going to do? Hibernate will create a column right here. You can write at column also, but if you are not going to write this column, which means Hibernate by default going to create the column with this field name, which is version. So let it be as it is right here. So with this name, column will get created, and by the version, this column will act like a version. Whenever we are going to update this column version is going to act like a version. Whenever we are going to update anything in our table, then that version column corresponding row cell of this column version is going to get updated. Let's see. For that, we have to drop the table first and create everything again. Now run the create statement. There will be one column for version. Here you can see by default values are 0. By default values are 0. So values are not going to be 1. It is going to be 0. Whenever we are going to update anything in these records, then the corresponding value will become 1. If we are going to update that corresponding row again, then this value will become 2. Suppose we are going to update this Kapil row, anything from, suppose we are going to update this phone inside Kapil, then it will become 1. This row column right here, this cell will become 1. Then again, we are trying to update the email of Kapil. Then again for this row, it will become 2. It already become 1 when we updated his phone, Kapil's phone. But now when we update email of Kapil, it will become 2. Let me show you. In update code, suppose for Kapil, I'm going with this code to update. This is one way to do update in your record by using the primary key, and then you can update anything in the rest of the records, or you can load the corresponding records by using session.load, and then you can use setter method. So let's say at 4 primary key there is Kapil, and when we are changing his phone number, his name, as well as his email. Let's see. We are changing this all 3 values, name, phone and email in one go. So our version column is going to be 1. It become 1. The phone of Kapil got updated, name of Kapil got updated, and email of Kapil got updated. And we updated all these 3 things of Kapil of this primary key at once. So this is 1. The version become 1. Let's change these things for Kapil again. Now let's do with this code. With this way for updating, we have to load the customer Kapil, which is at 4 primary key, and we are again updating his phone number using setter methods. Set phone. Let's run this. Now phone is 7, and version in version column there is 1. It is going to be 2. So phone number got updated, and the version corresponding version column value got updated to 2. So by default it is going to be 0, and when you are going to update something in the corresponding row, it is going to increment by 1. So that is what version mapping is all about. What you have to do, you have to make a field, and on that field you have to use annotation version, and with this version name, what Hibernate did, Hibernate create the column name. If we are going to provide here column name is equal to update, then here this column is going to be named as update. You know that if we are not going to use this column annotation, then corresponding column in the table will be generated with this name. So this is how version work. You only have to do or provide version annotation on top of one field. This field must have to be of data type int. So this is what version mapping is. This is what version mapping is. You have to use this annotation. Next is timestamp mapping. The annotation is temporal. What is timestamp mapping? It is same as version mapping. What we are doing in version mapping, suppose we have customer class, CID, CNAME, email, then what we are doing here is making one column, and inside that column we are going to provide values. We are going to provide that values. By default, the values are going to be 0, but when we are going to update any record in the corresponding row, it will become 1. If again we are going to update, then it will become 2. But in case of timestamp mapping, what we are going to do, instead of having numerical values here in version column, we are going to have time. We are going to have time. So it will show time when the last update has committed or has been done. Suppose there is a new record, then by default the time when that new record is inserted will be mentioned right here. And then what you are going to do, you are going to update these records, one of these records or maybe all of the records in this row at once. So what will happen when you are going to update these records, then the corresponding time when you are updating these records will updated here, right here. When you are going to insert new record, then the time of insertion will be inserted in version column right here. And then when we are going to update any records in this row, then the updated time when you are going to update, exactly that time is going to get inserted right here. Let's see in the code what you have to do. So exactly same what we are doing in case of version mapping. To make version, what we are doing, we are providing int field, because versions are going to be of type int. It is of type int, but in time we want here time. Time have to be get filled inside these cells. So for that we are going to change this from int to date, and date is going to be of type java.util. And then after this version annotation, you have to write temporal, and in temporal you have to write strategy is equal to temporal type dot timestamp, because we are doing timestamp mapping, remember. So s is going to be small, or it is not going to be there. Okay, you don't have to write strategy right here. So what we have made the changes. Instead of int, we are using date, and after version annotation we are using this annotation temporal, and in temporal we are providing temporal type timestamp for timestamp mapping. What will happen? These columns are going to take date. When we are going to insert values, new values, then the insertion time will be inserted right here. Then when we are going to update any values in these columns, then the update time will be replaced from the previous time. Let's see. For that we have to drop the table again, create table, use table. Let's provide some values first by the create operation. By doing the create operation, right now we don't have any tables. Tables are getting inserted, everything got inserted. Now we have these values, and you can see instead of int primitive value, integer value, we got time. Not only time, we are also getting date, 2024 second month, and date is 25, and the time, hour, minute, second, and maybe this is millisecond, I don't know. So what we got here in version, the day, year, month, and time, whole time of the insertion of this value got inserted. Let's do changes in Kapil. In Kapil, we are doing changes. We are loading Kapil at 4 primary key. There is Kapil, and we are changing his phone number. We run this, and let's see. Update customer issued. You can see phone number of Kapil got updated, and the corresponding times are also got updated. For this phone number, it was inserted at 15 hours 32 minutes and this seconds, and now this phone number is inserted at 15 hours 53 minutes and 16 seconds. Here it was inserted when the minute was 52, and now the minute is 53. So this is how version and temporal works. What you have to do to make it timestamp mapping? After version, you have to use this temporal annotation, and instead of int type, you have to use date, and date should have to be from java.util, not from java.sql. So this is version mapping and timestamp mapping.